Picture this. You're at your favorite sushi place. The chef sets down a gorgeous plate, and right there, next to that perfect slice of fatty tuna, is a little mound of bright green wasabi. You know the drill. You mix a tiny bit into your soy sauce, you brace yourself for that intense, sinus-clearing kick, and you take a bite. It's just part of the whole experience, right? But what if I told you that fiery green paste you've been eating your whole life probably isn't wasabi at all?
Yeah, you heard me right. So let's really get into this, because what most of us call wasabi is actually one of the greatest food imposters on the planet. We are about to uncover the truth behind this iconic green condiment.
And here it is, the big reveal. On one side, you have real wasabi. It comes from grating the stem, technically a rhizome, of a very special plant called Wasabia japonica. But on the other side, that's what you'll find in about 99% of restaurants worldwide. It's a clever concoction of horseradish, mustard, and a splash of green food coloring, all designed to mimic the real deal. Okay, so let's start by digging into this great green deception. Why is basically everyone serving you a fake? Well, the answer is a fascinating mix of some tricky botany, straight-up economics, and a little bit of chemistry. And look, this isn't just some fun food trivia. It has real-world consequences. This quote from a market analysis hits the nail on the head. The imitation is so good that most of us can't tell the difference, and that actually hurts the farmers who are trying to grow the authentic stuff. So, what's the deal? Why the widespread fake out? Well, first off, real wasabi is notoriously picky about how it grows. It's just incredibly difficult to cultivate. That scarcity means it's super expensive. The horseradish paste, on the other hand, is cheap, shelf-stable, and easy to make in huge batches. But there's another huge reason. The flavor of real wasabi is more complex, more herbal, and it's incredibly delicate. It literally vanishes into thin air just minutes after it's grated. So let's turn our attention to the star of the show, the plant itself, Wasabia japonica. This is where the story gets really cool, and it takes us all the way to the shaded, fast-flowing mountain streams of Japan. Now, what you're looking at here might look like a root, kind of like ginger, but it's actually the plant's stem, called a rhizome. This is the prize part that gets harvested. When you grate this, you get that authentic, pungent, and surprisingly sweet paste. All those little bumps are where the leaves used to be. So, what do I mean by finicky? Well, this plant is a total diva. It's native to Japanese mountain stream beds, and it demands constant, cool, crystal clear running water. We're talking a very specific temperature range. It absolutely hates direct sunlight, and as if that wasn't enough, it takes its sweet time to grow, almost 2 years before a single stem is ready to be harvested. To try and meet the growing demand, farmers are getting incredibly innovative. They're building these amazing greenhouse farms that are essentially indoor artificial mountain streams. They have to control every single variable, water flow, temperature, shade, just to try and convince this picky plant to grow outside of its natural home. Okay, so even if you get your hands on a real wasabi stem, the clock starts ticking immediately. You have to prepare it just right. It's traditionally grated on a special grater, sometimes made of shark skin in a slow, circular motion. This action is what breaks down the plant cells, kicking off a chemical reaction that creates that famous heat. But here's the real kicker. That unique flavor peaks in about 3 to 5 minutes, and it's almost completely gone within 20. It's a truly fleeting, once-in-a-moment experience. So, that disappearing flavor? It's all thanks to a very special chemical compound. And it turns out, this compound is responsible for way more than just a spicy kick. This is where wasabi transforms from a simple condiment into something, well, something kind of amazing. All right, let's get a little scientific for a second. The magic ingredient is called 6-MSITC. It's a mouthful, I know, but just remember that this is the main bioactive compound in real wasabi. What's important is that scientists have found it has some seriously powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties, which, as you know, are incredibly important for our health. So why does that matter? Well, think about it. For centuries, wasabi has been served with raw fish. That's probably no accident. Its antimicrobial properties can actually help slow down bacterial growth. But what's really exciting researchers today is that its anti-inflammatory powers are being linked to brain health. Plus, like a lot of potent plants, it's packed with antioxidants and vitamin C. And that link to cognitive health brings us to the most mind-blowing part of this story. A recent, groundbreaking study out of Japan has put wasabi in the scientific spotlight for a reason I bet you never expected: its potential to actually improve your memory. So, a group of researchers set out to answer a simple question. Could that special wasabi compound, 6-MSITC, actually create a measurable improvement in the brain function of older adults? This wasn't just a casual observation. This was a serious scientific investigation. And they did it right. The study was a double-blinded, randomized controlled trial. That's the gold standard in research. They gathered 72 healthy adults over the age of 60 and split them into two groups. For 3 months, one group took a daily supplement with a tiny bit of 6-MSITC, while the other group got a placebo. And here's the key: nobody, not the participants or the scientists, knew who was taking what until the very end. The results, they were incredible. This quote from the final paper says it all. The group that took the wasabi compound showed a significant boost in both working memory and episodic memory when compared to the placebo group. It actually worked. And let me be clear, this was a huge deal. It was the first clinical trial to provide hard, scientific proof that a specific compound from wasabi can genuinely enhance memory function in healthy, older adults. This is groundbreaking stuff. But what's really fascinating is how specific the effect was. It didn't just give a vague, overall boost. The big improvements were seen in working memory, that's like remembering a phone number you just heard, and episodic memory, which is your ability to recall personal events. Other areas, like executive function and attention, didn't really change. It was a targeted improvement. So you've got a plant that's rare, has a unique flavor, and now has scientifically proven health benefits. It's no wonder that authentic wasabi is at the heart of what you might call a billion-dollar green rush. Just look at the numbers. In 2023, the global market for wasabi was already worth over $455 million. That's a massive number for a condiment that many people have never even tasted in its true form. But that's just the beginning. Check out the forecast. The market is projected to more than double, rocketing past the $1 billion mark by 2032. That's absolutely explosive growth, and it tells you that something big is happening. So what's behind this massive surge? Well, it's a perfect storm, really. You've got the global love for Japanese food, of course, but you'll also have a growing foodie culture that's hungry for gourmet and artisanal ingredients. And critically, you have a huge new interest in functional foods. That is, foods that do more for our health than just fill us up. Which really brings us full circle and leaves us with a pretty wild thought. We started with a simple green paste and ended up talking about cognitive science and a billion-dollar global market. It just makes you wonder, what other amazing secrets are hiding in plain sight in the foods we eat every day? So the next time you're out for sushi, you'll know the real story. And you might just find yourself asking, hey, is this the real thing?